Hey there, I'm Mr. Savan, and welcome back to another video and Happy New Year. Sorry, it's been a bit since uploading. It's just like a lot going on with this project and a lot of other stuff I've been doing with the holidays I've had. So yeah, the project I've been working on is Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga save file editing. So I've got a GitHub repo here, which I'll put a link into the description. I haven't got anything here because the files are like too big because like the Word document's like 124 pages. Yeah, pretty long. And yeah, so just download whatever's the latest version at the time. And yeah, I mean, I don't need to download it since I created it and I've got that here. So you will see everything here inside the zip folder. And then I've got save files here, and then for the canister videos I did, um, yeah, unfortunately, because it's not a file extension like a proper file extension like the previous two games, you can't have it remember to always open in IMHEX. So you got to manually tell it to open in IMHEX every time. Yeah, so that would be opening an IM hex in the background, and then is the save file path. So yeah, also did get a 10 terabyte hard drive now, so I've got plenty of space, but still got to be cautious. There's also PDF available for the Word. Yeah, so drag the hex pad in and it's a pretty big save file because most of the stuff at the start isn't even save file related. Um, so yeah, just gotta have it evaluate, and this is the point where the save data actually starts. So if you write anything before from this point and before, that it will not be affected with the checksum calculations, but anything from this point onwards will be affected up until the checksum. So yeah, and I'll explain all this canister stuff later, how it works, and even demonstrate it. Um, yeah, so that's just all canister stuff, and then all the stuff down here. And then, I mean, yeah, and there's some stuff that's probably leftover levels and things that I just couldn't work out, and like tried my best to see if that had anything to do with the challenge where you collect the 10 blue canisters, but couldn't really find anything. So yeah. And then I'll open the Word document and move that over there. Actually, I'll keep it over here. So just waiting for the Word document to open. Yeah, so it's basically it. And then, as I said before, it's 124 pages, which you'll see in the corner there. And then the table of contents stretches like 3 pages. Yeah, two and a bit pages. Oh, yeah, just look at how many words this has. Yeah, introduction. This guy aims to explain how to modify a save file for LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga on PC. This also works for Mac save files. For console, like I do have this game on the Wii as well, but I have like it's totally encrypted and I can't understand what all that stuff is, and I haven't found a way to decrypt it that I'm comfortable with because I don't want to like get any sort of like encryption keys from the console that requires modifying the console because I don't want to risk breaking it. If I had a spare one, I would. Yeah, so it also works for Mac save files and go into detail how the game stores progression. The game writes to the save file in little Indian format. A guide on binary and hex code will be in this document to make it easier to understand how the values in the save file work, which I won't go over that since I went over that in my first video. Um, it's not intended to cheat because I'd recommend like you completing the game first before you like like get into modifying it so you can understand how the modifications work. Um, on PC, you'll have the game files stored in C users Windows username, app data local, and then you'll have a bunch of you won't have this many folders, but because I've got a symbolic link to my hard drive, so it just basically follows me when I change computers or user accounts or whatever. I've got it all in here. So yeah, and yeah, so it's stored there on Windows and Mac. This is one location it can be stored in, and then if you've got a later release like a Steam copy based on my research, it's more stored in this complex thing. Um, yeah, I don't have a Mac, so I haven't been able to verify that information. And so inside the folder, Lego Star Wars dash the complete saga slash saved games on both PC and Mac. The game can have up to 6 save files. The save file ranges from save game 0.lego Star Wars dash the complete saga saved underscore saved game to 5 as required for how many save files exist. And then that's just binary code, which you can read that if you don't know, and then hex code editing and little Indian, read that. As I explained before with the start of save data, um, anything you write from that address just before the checksum is in the calculation that needs to match the checksum. Anything outside of that, apart from the checksum, is not going to matter if you mess with it and don't update the checksum. And then the checksum, and then there's a program from Polymay that they've made that you can just drag the save file on to calculate the checksum and update it for you. And then game completion, like there's there's 2 locations. The game completion can be seen on the save select screen and in the cantina under the timer. The cantina game completion is stored in a 2 byte value in little Indian from that address, and then the save selection screen is completion is stored in a 2 byte value here, which is right after the checksum. Each hexadecimal increment corresponds to the increase of 0.1225 completion. A full list of every possible value that the game can store is available here. And this is different to Lego Star Wars 2. So, yeah, you'll just be able to see all that. And that's part of that's in the zip folder you can download from GitHub, and then game configuration settings. So pretty much the same as Lego Star Wars 2 stud value. Well, while the address is different, it pretty much fundamentally works the same way as Lego Star Wars 2. And then gold bricks, so stored here. And then max in-game value is hexadecimal A0, which is decimal 160. And then there's bought gold bricks, which are stored across these 2 addresses. And then here's the value for each gold brick that you buy in the store. The time spent playing on the save file is a 4 byte value from this address. It is saved as a 4 byte IEEE 754 floating point, little Indian, where the stored number equals seconds times 60.15. And I find that's typical for pretty much everything else that has a stored time value to it. And then there's level status, like your general story unlock, free play unlock, stud meter filled. And then there's like a legacy legacy memory address from Lego Star Wars 2, which is like a legacy thing with Lego Star Wars 2 because it's, yeah, um, you had to collect to 100% the game in Lego Star Wars 2. You had to collect the fill the stud meter in both story and free play, and then name of mini kits, and then it will be available to use in the bonus levels. And then canister count, which is the number of canisters in this collected in this level, which is not linked to the individual canisters. Then the red brick. Yeah. Oh, I actually forgot to. Um, there's also challenge on there that I haven't put in. Whoops, I'll have to update that before this video gets out. Because, yeah, challenge completed. Sorry about that. Let me add that in. Um, um, hoping I didn't have to do this. Um, but yeah. The challenge in this level has been completed. And yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, bonus levels. Each episode, each episode's bonus levels, and the six bonus levels store the following information: best time. It excludes the first three bonus level character and minikit bonus levels, and then it's a 4 byte dynamic value and stored the same way as I mentioned with the timer and pretty much every other time. The fastest completion time record in the save file for the respective bonus level. Then high scores for Super Story only, the highest stud value while playing the respective Super Story mode. And then completed, like pretty obvious, the level's been completed. Okay, so this is each level by its so yeah, this is the memory address for each each individual level. So yeah, you can just have a read of that and just fill it in as you would like. And then this is for the bounty hunter missions. And then these are the bonus levels. And then your in-game hints that come up. Some of them I couldn't yet figure out. Like it's a bit much to like. I tried. I mean, I might be able to figure it out in the future, but right now it's just really time consuming to figure like the remaining outs. I think that might be shown on this file. Yeah, so these are like values at the moment I couldn't work out where they come from. So yeah, might be able to work that out later. Yeah, so and then this is just the hints you can buy and shop and where they get saved. And then built bonuses, yeah, stud generator, like there are other things that are stored here, but bonus level doors when they're built, but I listed that information back here. Um, so yeah, this is like it's unlocked address and then where it is, and then the stud generator that you build for gold bricks that is separate. Okay, so canisters, they work fundamentally different in this game compared to the previous two games. So the memory address for each canister is dynamic and depends on the level and where it appears within that level by area. internally, each canister contains 10 7-byte slots that store collected canisters along with a 1-byte value tracks the how many of those slots are currently in use. I'm not sure if they're called slots, but that's just the way I refer to them for context. When a canister is collected, it is written into the next available slot for that area, and the slot number updates by one. For some canisters that require collectibles slash objectives, there is sometimes multiple canisters that can be collected to differentiate that it's represented with its number followed a decimal point and a number, which I'll show for Bounty Hunter Pursuit what I mean by that. The number after the decimal point means the last collectible slash objective that made that canister appear. Video references for the canister numbers for collectible slash objective canisters, only one is shown. Look in the description for the decimal numbers and like, or just look, yeah, like for the objective number, and their locations are available here at this playlist of my canister video run through. Okay, so I'll just briefly run through. So area A and then like slot one, that's a 7-byte value, and then the canisters collected. I'll show on the save file later how that works. So yeah, that's just yeah, every level's like this. This is like one of the reasons why there's documents like 124 pages long because of like all this information I had to add in. Yeah, and then I'll show a picture. There's a picture or where you can find the canister in the level, or you could see the YouTube video if you need a video guide if this picture's not exactly helpful, or you could do, as we super would say, geoguessing. So yeah, if you got good geoguessing skills, you should be able to know where these canisters are. So yeah, the area and then its value. I got all the way up to Cloud City Trap, episode 5, chapter 5, and realized there was a whole faster way to figure out what these values are than to have to, manually collect the canisters. Should have had this folder open before, but um, if you go to the game files, which I now have a disk copy of the game, um, yeah, I don't have to use my Steam copy. Yeah, go to levels, and then let's just go to let's just go to the negotiations, and then oh yeah, and this is how I worked out the area names because some of them might be like retake the palace. Yeah, this skips C, so there's no area C, and I've matched them to those numbers. So let's go back to negotiations. Let's go to negotiations A, and then you'll need brick bench for this, which I'll leave a link in the description if you want to do this. Yeah, because this is basically the model files for the levels. Um, yeah, and what the levels contain and stuff, and then controls are pretty much like keyboard controls for Minecraft if you know how to play that. So just WASD and then shift to go down, space to go up. What I usually like to do is hide the terrain, hide the splines. I mean, doors are interesting, but we're not looking at that. And then also hide the AI. So yeah, you can see some things developers left in the background that the camera never sees. So yeah, you can just basically fly around. But how I was able to find the canisters a lot easier is you go to Gizmo, pickups, and then there's like coins and stuff. So that's MPUP3. So M_3. So yeah, and then you go here and then yeah, that will match where canister one is. Um, There's also something a bit interesting I noticed. Oh yeah, so I've got it. I've got the hexadecimal value listed. So after the 0x is up until the slash is what you would write in the slot for in the hex editor. And then this is the ASCII value, which, as I showed before, is linked to the Brickbench name. Yeah. I did notice, like, it's a bit interesting when you get to canisters that have got MK underscore the number. Okay, so let's go to area C Gungan. Well, internally in the files, this is called Gungan and not Invasion of Naboo. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting. The name's not exactly the same with MK underscore number in the files. I don't want to hide all. Because if you go to let's go to this one, and then where's this one? Um, oh, upside down. Yeah, sometimes that can happen for some reason, and you'll just have to flip yourself up. So, yeah, this is the one under that log, and it says MK underscore 21. For some reason, with those ones, they have an extra number, but in the save file, they do not. And yeah, that matches the canister there. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's something that made it a whole lot faster when looking for canisters, and then it will probably also make it a whole lot faster when linking the artifacts to their values in Lego Indiana Jones, the original adventures, when I do that game next. Yeah, so just more canisters. I want to show you Bounty Hunter Pursuit. Okay, so I have listed, like, say with canister 8, if you are somehow able to get back to the start of the level from area C, which is actually impossible because you cannot backtrack from area B because of that ray shield in that area. So yeah, but I did mess with the files to like get back to area A and see like because this was before I was using Brickbench to determine what canisters what. So yeah, I was able to get back to area A using the files, like because I went and modified where it was like if I left area C, um, it would just take me back to area A, like as a temporary modification. So yeah, so that's what it would be if like you last collected if you last shoot down that, that's what the value of the canister will be in that area. So yeah. And then that's just basically how it works for all the other collectibles. I'll give you a more visual demonstration when doing hex file editing. There's a lot, so I'm just gonna skip nearly there. Okay, characters and vehicles. In this game, every character and vehicle has their own memory address. Unlocked means the character is available to use anywhere except story mode, and this value is hexadecimal two for every character and vehicle. Bought means the character slash vehicle um, has been bought and has been bought in the shop. Cheat code used means the character's cheat code was used and is available to buy and sell regardless of progress. Every vehicle and character has a cheat value present when the character is unlocked, and it even has a cheat value that's present even for characters you cannot use a cheat code for, such as Qui-Gon Jinn, which is redundant, but that's just how the devs made the game. Every character and vehicle cheat value is hexadecimal 1. Here is every character and vehicle and their addresses and their values without redundancy. So yeah, with story characters that you unlock, um, with unlocked and cheat, because every character has the same value. I'm not gonna list that because that would be redundant, because it's literally the same for every character. The only thing that's unique about their character is their address, and I mean their bought value, which bought value and address, and those characters do have that listed. So yeah, that's just every character there and vehicle, and the vehicle down the bottom. Um, there is Indiana Jones, which I've made buyable for him, which this address changes to 1 once you've watched the trailer, and he is now buyable. And then that's when the hint is triggered to come up if that hint value is not present in the save file. And then custom character. The custom character has 2 attributes that is stored within the save file, parts and name. I'll actually need to change that to 3 for this game. Um, Parts and name. There is also a stored value when the game hits 100% to have all abilities. I'll word it like this. Um, and also a stored value when the game hits 100% to have all abilities, which that's basically what I did in my canister videos to allow Super Anakin to literally do anything. Custom characters can do anything except enter Yoda's, it's supposed to say house, except enter Yoda's house on Dagobah. That's the only thing I can remember and aware about. When um, when this address is 1, the game does change it to hexadecimal 3 when the game is 100%. However, I was not able to work out what hexadecimal 2 is. And then these are the parts. So, like, this is the address for character 1. And then this is the value for all of them. So, yeah, I manually had to enter and like note down everything, and I did that in a text file like I did for the previous game. And then the names are stored in 15-byte ASCII value, which I mean it converts to hex, but you know what I mean. And then same with the original name, like I mean, once you change the name of the character, it will revert. It won't revert. It stores the original character's custom character name, and then extras. So um, is um, yeah, basically the red bricks you collect and like modify the game, and yeah. So there's a cheat value, which yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's a cheat value, but yeah, they're both active at the same time. So yeah, that's just it all, and then that's the Word document done, or at least a brief overview. Would be here all day if I was to literally note everything down. Okay, so let's go back here, and then I'll get a empty save file up, and I'll copy all this into um, the test save file I was using, which is, am I great this one? Um, I'll delete that one because I don't need that one anymore. This is was my normal playthrough, and then this was the canister one. And I'll just paste everything onto there, save, and then just do that. Okay, so that's level one unlocked. I'll show you how the canisters work. Okay, so let's say I want to mark canister one as collected. I would put this in any slot, but I'm just going to do slot one. And then the checksum would also need to be updated, but we're not exactly done here yet, because if I was to update the checksum, go into the game with just that, canister one will not be marked as collected because it doesn't see slot one as in use. So you'll need to change the slot number down here to one. And then if, say, that was one and I had canister two in here, canister two will not be collected, and I will demonstrate that in game. So do this. Okay, and I'll open up Steam, grab my Xbox controller that sits perfectly under my Samsung monitor, turn the controller on, grab my disc copy, and I'm only gonna boot it up with the disc copy once because I haven't been able to do a video playing the disc copy since I just got the disc copy. It was pretty hard to actually find one that had the manual that was within Australia because I didn't want to pay for one overseas. So yeah, Steam launching. I'll put that. Okay. Steam, are you launching? I need you to launch Steam. Yeah, I'll probably launch later. Let's just close this. I don't need that anymore. Won't need 100% anymore. Okay, yep, as Steam. Just waiting for it to load. Yeah, and I like to think of the hexpad as like sort of like a cheat sheet for like, it has the quick information on there where you can um see see what it is quickly. Oh no. Oh, that is a game I got over the holidays at an op shop. Complete Saga. No, that's the Steam copy. This one. No, and it's in the center, and I think it's the largest size available, is it? Oh no, it isn't. I'm sorry I'm doing this while recording a video, but I mean, some of you might be interested in this stuff. Maybe. But yeah, less rambling. I'll just launch the game. Yeah, and there's like how I'll probably launch games most of the time. I like using the disc copy most of the time if I'm doing a long play session. Um, but there's a reason I'll touch on later, which I'm not sure if it'll come up on camera as much, but the cursor changes, um, changes its look. So I have to go back in the settings to fix it up, which I'll do that after I close the game. So yeah, the game's launching out. What happened there? I don't know what happened there. Should be launching. Yeah, just waiting on it. I did get rid of those safety prompts Microsoft kept on popping up while I had to edit the registry, and finally they don't pop up anymore. Properties. Oh, probably Might want to change. I'll try changing that and see if it works. Okay. Yeah, I'll um need to change some of that stuff. There's some things I'm still changing over. Like I only got the hard drive like 2 days ago, which was 8 days earlier than I anticipated. Or it's 8 days earlier than Amazon was showing. Okay, so there's things I'll have to work on behind the scenes. Okay, let's just launch it from the files this time. Um, need to fix up the cursor. I'm not sure how it. Um, yeah, I'll fix up the cursor. Not sure how it shows on camera. Accessibility. No, not text size. Mouse and pointer. Okay, so let's just launch it from here. I'll have to investigate the Steam. What's going on there? Okay. For some reason, it does not want to behave. So I'll just do that one. 'Cause that one's been behaving. Um, yeah, I really want to do a video where it was launching from disk. I can hear the hard drive moving about. Okay. Yeah, it does black screen for a while, but doesn't go as long as Steam would. And I do have a disc copy of Indiana Jones, Lego Batman 1 and 2. Yeah, so just save file. Oh, should have given myself some more characters because I'll only have Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan since I copied empty save file. So I'll just have to walk all the way over to TC14. So go in here. Actually, sorry. Okay. I'll fix some things. I'll fix the cursor up. Accessibility, some pointers. Okay, so I'll have free play unlocked, and then I'll do that. Okay, so Obi-Wan, Zam Wessel, Emperor Boba Fett, RTT2, Tusken Raider, Yoda, Slave, C-3PO. Yep, I'll have him. Zero B. Save. Unless I did some wrong calculation, it should be okay, so yeah. Sorry for all this rambling. Yeah. I don't intend on this video taking like 40 minutes. And I'm so sorry for it's taken like 40 minutes, even though I've cut back far a little bit. Yeah, so just going here. Should be there, yes, it's value. It should not appear. I mean, it should appear, it hasn't saved. And yeah, Um, oh, there is another thing I need to mention about that is, yeah, oh yeah, I did mention that, but I'll visually demonstrate it as well. Let's get back there. Okay, so say for example, I collect canister 2 before I collect canister 1. Canister 2 will be put here, and then say canister 1's the next canister I collect, it will be put here. So yeah, yeah, and then oh, I didn't put in the Jeep value. Oh well. But yeah, it is unlocked. But yeah. So yeah, I did not figure out what these ones are for, but yeah. But yeah, that's just a brief overview of what you can do with save file editing on Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, and yeah, I basically have demonstrated other functions in other games and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me feedback and that. And please share this with people who you th- who you think would actually be interested in this kind of stuff. So yeah, and then I'll be doing the Go Indiana Jones soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.